we can catch up. All right, so welcome to the policy committee meeting. This is Monday, August 27th, 2018. We don't take breaks in the summer on policy committee like our other committees, but so we are here, we're ready to go. Looks like we don't have any minutes yet from the last meeting.
We're up to date.
Oh, that's right, we're up to date, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice job.
All right, nice work, right, great. So we can go right in, we don't have any announcements or communications today either. So we can go right into the report and recommendations. The first section is second reading. As we can see, we have these policies, some of the ARs we've gone over as well. So we had all the first readings of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 policies at the August 13th legislative meeting. So we can start with 212.
I just have a quick grammar question.
Please.
So under number 4, where we say parent-teacher conference, only because it's going to be repeated in a couple of policies we're looking at today, whether or not that should be delegated parent or teacher conference. We'll see it up here.
Right, no, right, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think parent / guardian, I mean, regardless of how we talk,
Exactly.
we say it normally.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Do you recommend that change for everything on the
Yeah, so there's like
calendars
3
as
or
well?
4,
Parent / guardians and hyphen teacher. Yeah.
if we could do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely.
Unless anyone has an objection? No? Okay. I mean, all
That
right,
doesn't affect the ability to give a second.
Yep.
all right,
Besides that,
all right.
it looks good. Mark is almost here, buddy.
Oh, he is, well, then we can slow down for Mark, so,
Let's speed up.
I'll have to redo it anyway. Okay, and then we also, part of 212 is the AR. Essentially, the changes are this, where,
I just have a general question. And that's the need of the committee approving and the board approving ARs. Do you know what best practices in terms of ARs? I know some districts do not get into ARs and left it to the administration to update. But I know we are currently approving it. Is something that we want to think about?
yeah. I mean, I think that, so, right, that's according to our board policies. Our board policy is created so that we are approving our administrative regulations. So I guess it's one thing we can discuss. One of the things I know that we have been doing over the last few years has been putting a lot of information into the AR. So we've been taking less away from the policy itself. I don't know if that would change if we then aren't looking at the ARs for approval. If we would then say, hey, maybe we want to bulk up more of the policy since we aren't actually looking at it. So I think it kind of goes both ways.
So to be fair, this was my question a couple of weeks ago. I actually, and then you and I had a conversation, and with the rationale that limiting what's in the policy and making it more AR, more stuff in the AR, I think I feel comfortable doing it this way now that I know the rationale.
How about just updating the ARs, Steve? Because it may refer to people or
Well, I think best practice with policy is we shouldn't be putting
names.
names in it. But Mrs. Clegg and I talked about one of the policies having language about when we look at policies on a cycle.
Right.
So that we're continuing, right, because all the work that's been done
Yeah.
to this point, so that work isn't lost.
And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, just most of our policies, a lot of policies were put in place back in 2002. They were pretty much dumped in from like PSBA or whatever, just put in. And then there hadn't been a lot of review. And so that's what, of course, we've been trying to do over the last 3 years since I've been policy chair, is to attempt to go through every policy and AR we have, which is hundreds and hundreds of documents at this point. So we've been making pretty good progress, but so, and obviously we are going through kind of on, we try to hit the zeros, the ones, the twos, and then triage, anything that comes up, we add on. So if there's any other way that, Dr., you want us to do it, we are willing to make some.
No, and I think now that I've spent a lot of time looking at the ARs, the ARs are really explanatory. A lot of districts, the ARs are really cursory.
Right.
So now that there's actually some substance, especially since we're going through this, and then I think moving forward, as policies come up for a second time review, it'll just be a direction.
Yes, we're not rewriting all the policies because they're done in a couple of years cycle that way, so, okay.
Okay.
All right, Mark,
Hi, I'm sorry.
I delayed. So, yeah, so we are in,
You said AR 212.
we're in 212, so this is still in, this is second reading. This is the first policy/AR in our second reading section. So, the only changes that Robin suggested that doesn't really impact, it doesn't impact the second reading, is that when we talk about parent-teacher conference, we're gonna do parent/guardian teacher conference, so that way we're not.
Yep. Okay. So there's one in the policy, two in the AR, just in terms of notations. And then the other question I had for the AR was just, since we're talking about grading policies or GPAs, should we not cross-reference also the grading, or the GPA policy?
Yeah, that makes sense, then we can do a cross-reference to that.
So that's 214.1, 214. That's a cross-reference.
And in both, in reporting student progress, 212 and 213?
No, just for 212, although it might be 213 as well. I know it in 212.
Right,
Yeah,
214.1 and 2.
214.2.
all right, and this is right, our elementary schools do 3 report periods, and middle school and high school are doing 4, correct? Okay. All right. Mark, you need to slow down more, do you want to
No,
talk about
you're good.
212? Okay. All right, then, unless I hear an objection, we'll move 212 for second reading and adoption of the, and approval of the AR. All right, 213. Right. So I don't
I
believe it
have
would-
one question on 213.
Yep, policy or AR?
Policy, under guidelines, it's not new, well, it's partly new, but at the outset of any course, each student should be informed about the course expectations and academic standards. Should the parents and guardians also be informed about course expectations and academic standards? And if so, do you need that to be in policy?
Right.
I think that's just practice and not policy. I think I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Typically, parents are informed via the course selection book. So I think either we can put a qualifier in there, or take it out. I don't think that matters terribly.
I mean, if we say in policy that the student shall, and then in practice we also do more, I think that's
Right.
fine.
I think that makes sense.
So I just wanted to ask the question.
Right.
And I think with having learning management systems, parents have access,
Mhm.
to the information.
Right. All right. Is our AR, has that been reviewed by, I'm assuming it's been reviewed by the administration and principals?
I sent everything to them.
Okay,
Feedback, maybe they had any input behind it on here.
okay.
The note on that seems out of place.
Is it note?
Yeah.
No, that just means either you gotta add the scale or delete the comment.
Okay.
One or the other.
Okay, so it's just there for a placeholder for now.
Correct,
Okay.
just there, yeah.
It shouldn't, which is why I said it's out of place.
Right, right.
So
Yeah, I think that's a we could cross-reference
Okay.
in here too.
Okay.
So are you gonna add the
See, the-
scale or delete the comment?
Just add the cross-reference?
I would just add the cross-reference.
Okay,
So,
good, Deborah?
Mhm. What's that policy?
It's
That's-
also
214.1,
214, yeah.
214.2.
Oh. All right, are you good with 213?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the AR actually doesn't say anything, and usually the AR is the thing that
Says something, I know,
It's me,
this is the other.
But it's not a problem.
Okay.
So,
All right.
It may-
the
it may-
unofficial policy have, I don't know if it is policy, in terms of standardized exams, the process that students need to follow at the high school when the test, you know, that.
To review it.
To review it, is that just in the course of study, or is that in the AR? We have a very strict I'm not going to say word policy,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
procedure
I think
about
it's,
standardized high school exams. There were some issues in the past about more.
Or they can go home and they can be.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we had this
Yeah.
whole
So
conversation.
I'm just wondering,
I think it's a practice at the high school.
I mean,
We'll have to
just the
double check.
facts of high school.
Let me double check the high school.
No, there was a whole thing
That
about
comes
the
up
tests.
every now and then.
The test, yeah, the test return
They
protocol.
aggregate through several steps.
Yeah. Okay.
We had talked about it.
I thought maybe that would be here, but I guess it's just part of the course of study.
Yeah, I'm gonna check
I
that.
don't feel like it belongs here.
No, okay.
Formal student handbook.
High school policy, for high school.
I would rather not see it in policy, just that way it allows us to be more agile with, especially as we go down the road with more personalized learning. Some of those big standardized assessments may look different.
Very different.
All right, I'm just gonna turn
I just want to make sure it was intentionally not put in. Trying to find it, of course, you can try to, of course.
this. I know, I mean, this is something that's coming up many times.
Testing guideline.
Because it's when they all have this, the one exam. Yeah, where is this? Test return protocol.
Where are you finding that?
I just Google. It's under academic request forms on the website.
On the what?
I just Googled it and there's a Google Doc on the website, on like the high school website. But it's not in,
It's not in the course of study.
yeah, there's an academic request forms on the high school's website. Under Upper Dublin High School parents. And then there's different forms, and one of them just talks about the test return protocol.
Did you find the test return protocol?
Yeah, it's a separate document on the high school website. No, the only cardinal guide I see on the website's from 14-15. So I'm gonna get that updated. Yeah, that's, I figured, so that's, I'm just, yeah, just get that fixed. Because we've talked about it from then, since then.
Yeah, so I was trying to think about how my memory would recall this. It was, I
Yeah.
think, primarily discussed only in education.
I think so too,
And it
yeah.
wasn't discussed ever in policies.
Never, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I will say that it is not in the student handbook or the program of studies, so I'm not sure if
We
It's
should
in
have it.
some document I received as a parent.
Okay.
I don't know what,
It's a separate, a separate.
but I remember getting it as a parent.
I can ask Mr. Schultz to make sure that it's in or added to the handbook.
Yeah.
And also something
That's
that
weird,
we
it shows up on
review
the
with
side.
students, just so that everyone is in the loop.
Yeah, I think it should be,
Yeah.
especially when parents are coming into it and it's a new thing, so. Yeah, 'cause- all right,
So,
so we're not gonna put it in here anyway. But we'll take a look and make sure it's at least in the student handbook, because it's definitely not right now. All right, with that, are we good with 213?
Yep.
Okay. 217?
I have
217.
something for the AR.
Yeah, make sure the policy is not in anything.
You're finished looking at AR 215?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a minor question, well,
Yeah.
two minor wording things on the delegation of responsibility for policy 217.
Okay.
There's 5 bullets. Everyone finds them. The first one, carefully and accurately recording, doesn't sound like policy language. Seems like just recording should be good enough.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's a period at the end of number 5.
Yep.
I would drop that here, too.
Oh.
Similarly, in number 3, maybe, Mark, that's where you're going, where it says providing timely.
Yeah, providing warnings. Yeah,
Thank you.
that would bother me less, but yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The period after achieving at the very end.
Actually, don't have warning there either,
Well, what's your question?
but communication. Because you're already saying that they're in danger.
Yeah.
So let's just provide communication to students who are in danger. The warning pieces. What is it?
Yeah, I agree, it's a little strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Or unless the paper says, warning, warning.
All right, but can you change that just to communication?
Communication.
Warnings to communication. Thank you.
Okay.
I hate to belabor the point, but I think this should say to students and parents, guardians.
Yeah.
If students are in danger of not meeting graduation requirements.
Right here. This
Yeah, to make it
Mhm.
clean, and their parents / guardians. Otherwise you have to say, and parents / guardians of the
Would
student.
you need there number 2 also?
I mean, providing communications.
Communication.
Was it warning students?
Or
Well,
just
probably trying to
communicating
get rid of
to.
the word warning, but communicate to, maybe.
We want it to be a warning.
But we already, the only, I'm saying it's a double because we're giving the warning and then the danger. It's already,
Well, no, you're saying what you're warning them about.
How about at risk instead of in danger? Warning and at risk or something.
it's not
Trying
that.
to avoid the redundancy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not, we do that risk.
Yeah, I think it risk is better than the danger.
Yeah.
Danger is not something like physical. Yeah, that makes good warnings, makes sort of risk of. But I still think providing communications, that's.
Yeah, it's not,
that's
just
that's
say warning.
not actually saying anything.
Mhm.
And I just think you just need one word. You don't need all those. You can get rid of 3 words and replace it with one.
Warning.
That's always something.
Or alerting, if you prefer that.
No.
Warning.
Mhm. Which one?
They're all
Alerting.
over, but they were very. So, semantics for this one.
That's my favorite committee.
Yeah.
You like alerting?
Alerting.
Which one?
I actually like
Now,
I like what I heard.
Sure, just the blurting.
I'm always trying to meet you up.
Yeah.
Brooke, in that number 1, now you have 2 R's.
Two R's,
already.
yeah.
You didn't strike out, no, sorry.
And where else?
At number 1, at the very beginning, you have a capital R and now a single R.
Just to go back to the other one for a brief second, have an answer where to find the opt-out.
Yeah,
Upper Dublin High School, and you go to the parents.
yeah, the UDHG parents and
And
then
then
it's
there's
the,
all the forms for everything.
yeah. So we need to have a better place than that, so. I mean, we can keep it there.
Provide the link,
That's
for
right.
all the policies.
We should put it, well, yeah,
No, that's dangerous.
not that so much, but we just need to make sure it's in the student handbook. So parents have a better way to find it, like, what's going on with this procedure? They need to know what the protocol is.
So not the test protocol?
Yeah, I would include
To
the student handbook to the form that's on the website. Because you probably just got the form, is my guess.
Not the link.
I don't remember, I'd have to go try. to
Because
find it.
the form's not really a form, it's like a description of the
Yeah.
protocol.
It's possible I received that communication after we had had that discussion and solidified what the protocol was, not
Right.
as an annual sort of
Yeah.
reminder. So it might be the new high school parents may not receive it.
Yeah, so we just need to make sure it's in there so parents have a
Yeah.
place to look. Know where to look. All right. Anything else?
I've got the AR.
All right, let's go to the, unless, I'm good with going to the AR unless anyone else.
That's fine.
All right.
All right, near the beginning of the graduation requirements, there's a new paragraph about, where is about graduating early? No, it's not the one. Where's graduating early? Oh, yeah, right at the beginning. Students will be required to complete the agreement for early admission. So you can't graduate early and not go to college? Early admission? That seems like an unreasonable requirement.
I agree.
I mean, somebody must have thought it was a good idea, or it wouldn't have landed here, but
Yeah.
any idea where that came from?
Yeah, but I can ask.
And is it even in here? Like, we don't have it as attachment two.
Yeah, no, that we have attachment A, not
It
attachment
should be.
one, but.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that if you graduate college and you want to do something else or take a gap year or something like that, you know.
Yeah, or just go regular admissions, or,
Mm.
like, there should be no, it shouldn't be tied to going to college at all, never mind. tied to going
That's what I mean,
to
it shouldn't be tied to going to college at all, so.
Yeah.
In my
If you need to
humble
complete
opinion,
the
too.
requirements, you complete the requirements, so.
Just
take it out.
students attending, students, if you want to, you need the requirement there, otherwise.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
I feel like that entire,
Yeah.
it came from somewhere, I'd like to know where.
Well, it should.
It strikes me as not correct. But somebody obviously thought it was correct, so I think.
Yeah, I say we strike it,
Students attending college will be required.
but then why?
No,
But why?
Why?
Yeah, yeah, there's no reason to. Yeah, I would take it
What if
out.
I want to go to college for a year?
No, fine, right, here.
Yeah, I would take it out entirely.
Until we get clarification.
Yeah. But we don't even have it, it's just what it looks like. We talked about the rest of this, but I didn't talk about that portion last time.
How about this section? This-
That keep that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, they need to talk to their guidance counselor to see, make sure.
Well,
They
But
were-
it's school,
School
yeah.
council.
Yeah, the wording here said school council. We've lost the green, but
Yeah, that'd be school.
did you accidentally lose all the changes further down too?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I said, I highlighted it first.
No, they're not.
Part of the question was in green.
Yes.
I guess it's
I'll go back again.
It's this new section.
Right. Do you think, Ken, that just came from PSBA and it was added in because it wouldn't
No.
have come from?
No, because there wouldn't have been something, there would not have been a title of a form that precise if it had been from PSBA.
Yeah.
No, this is something, this is
another
just
one.
something that has
Yeah.
always been done here.
Yeah.
I think they would just assume that everybody would.
Graduate early, go to school. Yeah. Yeah, I was just removing that one there. I'm just gonna, yeah, just highlight it and do that. Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Works, that works. Okay.
But the attachment,
We don't have attachment 2 anyway. The attachment we have is regarding
For
the
the-
last part of it,
Right.
which we talked about last time, since
Right,
Upper High
okay.
School didn't exist during some of those wars, but whatever.
I have one other minor one, it's really just a question.
Yeah.
Right where in the middle of the screen, you have to have 2 credits of arts or humanities, parentheses elective. And I don't I can't parse that. I don't know what it means.
I do remember that, that was a recommendation.
We added it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from, we had,
We have mayonnaise.
Schultz looked at some of this, and so he wanted to make sure we added the word arts in there, because some of the kids take arts and not humanities. But what you're saying is really the elective.
Yeah, the elective, is that what the parenthetical expression that follows is meant to explain?
I think so. I think so, and here's why, because a lot of times, certain English courses and certain social studies courses can be referred to as humanities, and so I think what that language is getting at is besides the required English and/or social studies classes.
I think it's clear if that's
If
what
we
it
put
means.
it in before
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah, I would say or additional, credits of additional arts or humanities,
Right.
parentheses, could include.
Or we-
Because we already have electives above.
Yeah, that's
Right.
exactly.
I would-
I couldn't understand what it meant. And if I couldn't understand what it meant, then I'm fearful that others might not.
Right. So where my cursor is at?
I would add the word additional
Yeah, additional.
and then drop the parenthetical elective. You lost your open point there.
So one criticism I have of board docs is that we can't follow along right with it. I'll take it considering all the other. It's still better than what we had before.
Would it help if you sat on?
No, it's fine. No, so you can see the screen. No, right. No, not at all. I can see it from here.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. I'll send 217 forward as well. To 18, this is student discipline, so we've been awaiting to say
That was competing with transportation, right?
oh, yes. No, transportation,
You're not-
nothing
I'm gonna
competes with
read it.
transportation.
That's still the
It's like
winner.
2 years of transportation, so, kid you not. And, oh yeah, we still, well, now that we have the new director, I'm sure we need to update that, so. But we'll start with the policy of 218.
Yeah, there are changes for training, right?
Yeah, we haven't had
All the
any.
changes are there.
Yeah, this was all,
The AR was a result of extensive meeting with Ed and building principals.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, they've been working on this for a decent amount of time, so.
I just noticed something I didn't notice last time I read this. Under, what
This is
section?
policy.
Policy, let me make sure this is policy. Actually, it feels like AR. Oh, this is AR.
Okay, good.
So we're now up to AR?
Yeah, it's like a,
Do you want to do the AR? You want to do this?
yeah, unless
Was
there's
there
any policy.
anything in the
Is
policy?
there anything policy? Yeah.
I don't see it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
let's look at it.
there's a bulleted section about halfway down that starts with building administrator, designated contact parents, guardians, review these steps. There's a lot of grammar in it. 5 bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. So, second bullet says, Director of Pupil Services contacting me to discuss arrangements for mental health assessment, signed parent guardian permission will be required. And then right at the bottom of the bullet, it says, prepares permission for building administrators to secure parent guardian signature. I think, isn't that redundant, those two things?
Same thing.
Where's the redundancy?
So second bullet,
Yep.
and the
I get this.
sentence immediately following the bulleted section.
Oh, I understand. Are you talking about this
The
one?
bigger one.
Yeah, that's.
The second
Right, it's the
one
same
is
thing,
more
it says, just
important.
says it twice. Commissioner services, visitation contact.
Yeah, I would leave it on the top.
Mhm.
If I'm right, I would leave it. If there's something different about what's being asked, that I don't understand, leave it there.
Okay. Professional
Right,
designation.
yeah.
It's just who prepares the permission is that second part. And it comes from my office, that the permission is prepared, that's the
Oh.
only difference.
Oh,
Right,
this is
Second
the
bullet.
building
Yeah, that's who it
administrator,
is.
and this is
I'm
you.
contracting
Right,
it.
that makes
It's
sense.
It's like
I
college
see.
to issue the permission.
oh, yeah. That's what it's saying.
Signed parent guardian permission will be required, okay. Yeah, okay. This probably could be cleaned up, but it's good enough. I'm just thinking to get into it. Now that I see that it's not redundant. I'm growing up.
On the, going up to the off-campus activities, this is solid green. There's 6 points after, it's like off, it's the
Yeah.
paragraph, okay. So I'm just looking for an example of number 5. So this at AR in the policy applies to students' conduct that occurs off school district property and otherwise, blah, blah, blah. And then the one is the conduct involves the theft or vandalism of school property. So it occurs off school property, it involves the theft or vandalism of school property. What is it, a
Off
bus?
campus, yeah, yeah, see,
A
bus
bus,
would be an example.
okay,
But you could, school property is school property.
right.
Steal a Chromebook anywhere.
So they're at this and they're taking, that's right, school district property. Off.
Well, that's not
Off.
It
happening.
says of.
Oh.
Involves of school.
Right. It's
Or is it
beginning,
off
it occurs
campus?
off property, off campus versus,
School
okay,
property bill, yes.
right, okay.
Earbuds, Chromebooks, anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Anything
okay.
Portable off campus.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get, see,
Football equipment, if it was an
Yeah.
away game.
okay.
Although it's a good question, that's one can, if someone was to vandalize, say they were at Worcester Higgins School District, they vandalized their property and was reported back, would we be able to apply this, even though it occurred there? It was
Nah,
reported back to us from.
I'm sorry.
Well, if it was Upper Dublin property, then yes, but not if it's Wissahickon.
Yeah, after
How
that,
about-
a student vandalizes Wissahickon property or?
Yeah.
And it's reported back, would this be an
Right.
policy?
Is there a difference between if they're at Wiss and they vandalize Wiss's property versus
That
our
would be a
property?
different,
Right,
that would be a different role. That would be conduct occurs off school property, traveling to and from school travel. So if the kid goes to Wissahickon during a football game.
And they vandalize something there,
Vandalize something.
and then and the principal calls here and says, this is what happened.
Correct.
Are they
If the
subject to
kid-
this?
If a kid just goes to Wissahickon over the weekend, unconnected to anything.
Right.
It's no different than if they did the act of vandalism at Elwood Mall. So they wouldn't, you wouldn't.
right,
Would have to be in connection with some school sponsored activity.
right.
So if it was during a football game?
Yes.
Okay. So this
Right,
would-
or ancillary football game.
Or because, or it was active vandalism because they were playing some prank.
Okay.
Maybe.
Or I'm thinking of the
Maybe.
superintendent. I'm thinking of the superintendent.
Oh, no,
That would be,
no.
if a student did that, that would be considered.
Actually, it would be bullet 6
Okay.
of this here. There's otherwise a link between the proximity and timing of the conduct in relation to the student's attendance at school or school-sponsored activities.
Yeah, maybe. Or they just hate Wissahickon, so, yeah, because of their connection to Upper Dublin.
Yeah.
Those would be all fun with the travels, so, okay. All right.
Chair, I have a question, I guess, under the bullets that Mark was originally at with suspension. Second to the last bullet where it says the student has a right to the informal or formal hearing. Wouldn't that be also the parents as well, or
It's the students, right?
was it?
The parents can assert the right on behalf of the students.
Okay, but it's fine, just state it as state.
Yeah, the law states it as a student's right.
You probably connected this to suspension policy, cited.
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was cited somewhere inside here, but we should just footnote or cross-reference from
It's on the policy.
Probably, yeah.
It's
No.
under the policy.
Well, in
There
the
is another-
discipline, the discipline of students and disabilities section, so these procedures are detailed at length in AR 233, but then we don't link 233, so.
It also says under guidelines for student contact in the new section, there's a link to district information/parent resources.
Yeah, so we just,
That should be it also.
link, yeah, yeah. All right, is there anything else in this? All right, we're good with it. Mark, do you need a minute?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Everyone else, we're good, so 218 moves forward as well. All right, 8 to 7. The last of our second readings.
I have a brief question on your authority, it's just an academic question. Now, it says the district shall offer opening exercises and include a salute to the flag. I have never heard the phrase salute to the flag until Art says it all the time. I don't think I've ever heard it. Is that common wording that I've just never heard, or did Art just make that up?
It's in the state law,
The word salute?
saluting the flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
May refrain from saluting the flag.
all right, that's good.
Mhm.
I'll stop making fun of Art for it.
You can still make fun of art for it, that doesn't, it has nothing to do with it.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah. That's, you're so welcome. Still has the word inclement weather.
Yeah.
I hate that. I know. What?
It still sounds weird.
I know, can we change that?
So I should
Climate
say,
weather.
due to inclement weather, we won't have school today in my announcement.
I know,
Clement.
yeah, you should.
It's really the other way.
Clement
Clement
weather.
weather.
We will have school today, yeah, that's the, can we use a different word? Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I think we should.
please, yeah, no, thank you. It drives me nuts every time I
I
see it.
know, I looked at it, yes, is that right?
I know.
In Clement.
Yeah. All right. I'm doing another. All right.
Herbert Park, I mean, it's law that requires you not to have a flag out. when it's that way.
Inclement,
So it's what-
right.
It has actually,
In inclement.
required by law.
Yeah, the
It
flag.
wouldn't include that whatever anyway, so you can take it out.
Yeah, so
unnecessary. I say
I know.
just remove it.
I haven't. Where?
Are we required by law? I'm looking at the statute, because whatever,
No, you're not supposed, I don't know about law, probably, maybe it's just more, you know, what Boy and Girl Scouts learned, but it's, there's a protocol about not.
right, when it's
Just
nasty
like
out here,
flags.
right, yeah, no, and when the sun goes down,
But you could just say, can we display where and how required by law or other applicable guidelines? That way, it covers when you raise it, which you should, when it should be a half mast. That's pretty much it.
right.
Yep.
All right.
So where and how required by law or other applicable guidelines, other applicable federal guidelines. State and federal guidelines.
Yeah,
Well, we're talking about the US flags or something.
yeah.
No,
We
state-
can-
Is that a big guideline from the,
Yeah.
stick out from the federal law?
The state law's not linked to this.
Okay. I'm
I don't
trying to
see
think
it.
if-
Yes,
so-
I'm wondering.
So if like the governor of Pennsylvania were to die, you wouldn't fly, you would fly the Pennsylvania flag and have a
Yeah.
flag. Yeah, so it should be,
And we struck the Pennsylvania flag, so
okay,
Well,
well. then it should
Pennsylvania
be
flag's the second part.
applicable- That just should
People's
be
names.
applicable federal guidelines.
Oh.
And the state, is only the state
Yeah.
flag. Do you not have a state flag?
We haven't,
Outside, we have three flags, right?
the high school.
The high
High
school.
school, we don't have a state flag in every
Or
location.
maybe,
Right.
maybe else you could split.
Yeah, it's just,
Plus, redundant.
right, that's the
All-
high school,
all
so
at the
we're gonna
same-
take, they're all the same height, really?
Everything.
In the correct protocol.
In the right, there shouldn't be high.
Yeah, I thought the US flag was the high,
I don't know if
slightly
So they're
higher.
all the same height, there's a
Mhm.
way that you have to flag them.
So I'm taking them as down or.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, so
If they're
then
one- if
strike
one is
out
higher,
all the
then
weather
it's
during
like-
school hours.
Uh-huh.
I
But
don't
the-
know too much about that.
At other
Yeah,
times.
apparently, yeah.
We visited her.
Yeah, all right.
That should-
Yeah, across the board. It would be another policy.
This is
this
policy.
policy.
But my question there is also.
Yeah, the superintendent may determine.
Okay. Very much.
I have a lot of power.
You do. Superintendent or designate.
Or
So,
designate.
yeah, you can designate.
Yeah, superintendent or designate.
Rather than be flag officer.
I know.
Flag.
Flag duty.
Marshal of arms.
My office is, I can see two different flags. My office complex and across the street. And invariably, my office complex has it, always says it wrong. The other one will be flag half mast, and I'll see my, and I'm the only one that sees this.
Right.
I'm constantly complaining. Why does he take care of so much about this? It's because they're the only one that can see both of them.
Right, right, yeah. Make your office and complex look bad.
So the least two later.
Yeah.
All right, we'll fix that paragraph, so I'm gonna, save it, so you can see what it's gonna look like in the red line. Okay, US flag, sounds nothing. Red lines, and other. That's good to me.
Well, it says,
It's
a
better.
flag shall be displayed where required by law and at other times. So either that should be a when, or
Oh, 'cause,
the other
yeah,
time should be,
where. And,
Let's see when.
how about as required by law?
yeah,
That's-
And,
yeah, and.
or as determined by.
I was thinking as, yeah.
And you don't get it.
As determined,
Don't
yeah,
get
so-
or the where, when, part.
Yeah. As, and then,
Or as determined.
Or as determined.
yeah. Where, I'm sorry, so instead of the and, right there, or as determined. Yeah, so take out the and at other times as. So just do or. As. Determined. Then by. And then you'll take out the other as at other times. Got it.
Not to give you a sticker, but I think that same statement that we have about the superintendent or designation should also be added to the Pennsylvania.
Before you get there, you gotta get rid of may determine at the end of the sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Community period.
But because we have two guidelines,
Yeah.
the same clause should be added to the end of that statement about Pennsylvania flag as well. So after adding each school building, Brooke,
Mhm.
then we also be displayed at each school building, or as determined by the superintendent or designee.
You're missing a period in the previous sentence.
And then last question, since we only have the flag, but we're stating two separate flags, we need to know. I'm serious.
You're right, no, you're right.
Where?
Because which flag are we telling our students to have respect for?
The,
The
yeah,
flags.
flag, S.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
just add the yes.
yeah. so. That's always evil, isn't it? Alright.
Sounds good.
Alright. Ready, some substantive changes. Your substantive changes, are they?
Nope,
Alright,
I don't think so.
we agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Took out inclement and added all those words. But at least it doesn't say inclement weather anymore, so. All right, so we'll move forward with 807, second reading.
Anytime you have to Google it yourself, that's not good.
I know, exactly. We should never Google this. All right, hey, we're up to new stuff. So, the first policy we have on is bullying. We need to review bullying policy every 3 years according to state law. So hence it's on here. So,
We just took the liberty of making some stylistic changes.
yeah.
In the definitions,
Bullying.
the word means, right, no, back up.
Oh, yeah. You don't need the.
We don't need means.
Exactly, because you have the hyphen. Yes.
So we say occurs in a school setting or outside a school setting, which means basically it occurs at any time?
Yeah, I was reading that too, right, it needs to, that point needs to be made, whether it's made, it is awkward to make it, to say it like that, where,
You could take her whether in a school setting or outside, that kind of drives home the point that it's not material and we're not,
yeah.
yeah, I think the weather would be perfect there. This is
Are you talking about,
It's right out of statute.
you're talking about inclement weather, or?
I was waiting for that. So it occurs whether or not in a school. It occurs whether it occurs whether in a school setting or outside school setting.
So if it's somebody's basement, and
Or you could say whether in or out of a school setting. It could be, or something. That's where a lot
Yeah,
of bullying
because-
takes
because-
place.
Right, it's gonna be.
Because if it's severe perception pervasive,
It
that creates a threat to the
fears.
environment,
Yeah.
doesn't matter where it happens.
Doesn't matter where it happens.
People do it in the basement all the time.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a violation of probably some other policy, so.
Minor side is the one again, at the very bottom, superintendent or designee shall develop. Because it's
Yeah,
consistent.
or
for
does it, yeah,
language.
exactly.
At the very bottom, right there.
The last five.
Just add or designate. Unless Steve is going to really do all of this. Yes.
You might. Any commas or periods after each of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or semicolons. I don't
That's one of those things that should be in a staff.
know. I know. All right. Who's doing that?
Robert actually.
We started
did a rough
it.
draft and
Right.
drafted it.
Style guide for policy.
We didn't
Live
deliberately
policy.
drop it, we just ceased
Yeah.
making progress on it.
I'm not doing it.
Just adopt somebody else's.
These guys are doing it, not
I
me.
don't think the New Yorker would want that.
Can we get one of the English teachers to help us?
There you go, there you go.
Make that part of our company project.
Well, that would, I mean, you did say we'll adopt New York Times, New York, or whatever, style guide, we have to have these conversations again.
No, but then we have to learn those style guides, so, yeah.
Okay.
And they might not.
Yeah, I know, oh,
They
yes.
might not believe it actually counts or something else.
Oh, I know, and so we couldn't have to review all of those style guides first, so.
In number 2, it says,
That's
We
fine.
all, by the way.
Sarah, in
Yes.
number 2, it says identify a staff person to receive reports of alleged bullying. Is that a staff person in each building, or?
That's a good
or do
question.
we leave that?
It is in each building. It's usually the principals or the counselors, the initial complaint of bullying goes.
Did we leave it out
Staff person.
intentionally, or should we add?
Right,
I think intentional. Because then it adds to the discretion of the building team who they are.
There should be one in each building.
at least,
More than one. Okay.
Yeah.
but
Right,
you
I mean, I
said
would think
the-
it's always the
principal of each building
principal and
should be
the counselor.
responsible for designating one, is that what you're trying
Well,
to
If
say?
that's what, if that's what
And
the
your-
process, if that's what the policy is.
right.
And it's usually the other principals or the
But-
guidance counselors.
Well,
Isn't
at least-
Mustard 5 right there technically just AR language anyway, if we move in? Because I think it's AR, it designates some of that, like what Michelle just
No,
said.
no, no, it's a matter of policy that you're it's a
Okay.
matter of policy
Okay.
to say to the superintendent, we want to make sure your guidelines contain the following.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that actually is.
Okay, so maybe it's just, instead of a staff person, identifies staff persons. Identifies staff.
Yeah, that's good, yeah, identify staff.
This is
Specific,
apparently
identify
the
specific
student
staff.
handbooks. I guess.
Well, some of
But
the,
in
it gets
the-
clarified in the AR.
No, I know, I'm looking at the handbook, and it's like in the or the AR, and the AR says each building administrator
Identify
will
specific.
identify
Yeah,
a
yeah.
staff person responsible.
Identify
So-
specific staff.
Right, and so then the publicity of it,
Or-
Mhm.
Keep person in there?
I'm just,
Got it,
it's
got it.
gotta be in this student handbook then, of
Doesn't have to be a person.
what building principal or parent goes to?
Yeah.
Like where, and that's the thing, is
I was
it,
just looking at the handbook.
that's what I was wondering, like, is it in the handbook?
They reference it in harassment piece.
Yeah, we have a bullying too then.
Bullying. Because harassment has specific people.
Because are we ever gonna designate, and I say we as the royal we, someone other than the principal or counselor?
Could be.
Could be an assistant.
Right. We don't have a lot of those, at least at the elementary school.
Oh, well, high school,
Yeah,
middle school.
right. I'm just wondering, yeah, where is it designated? So I'm a parent, I have a problem with bullying, who do I know how to talk to?
Mhm.
I mean, common sense would say,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like, if we're saying someone has to be designated, where are they designated, and how does a parent know?
I mean, you could reference 219, again, 219 really relates to the student complaint process. And it's a more formal means of addressing it. The informal-
Yeah, this is informal, like, hey, my kid's having a problem, I need to talk to so-and-so, and so. And so what do you do? Say I'm having a problem with my kid's a ninth grader, who do I contact? How do I find out who to contact?
It's not explicitly.
Yeah, so we need to put that in, we need to figure out whether it's in the student handbook that it's identified, whether it's in the AR, how is that communicated to parents?
Well, we communicate to parents by the handbook.
Right, so it makes sense that and the handbook can be updated without coming to the policy committee.
In policy, should we define what cyberbullying is? I mean, we just make that one statement.
Right.
Should we say many forms that could take, or just leave that?
I would want to try to define it in policy because it's too fluid.
Okay, so.
We could say that that would be defined in the AR.
Don't we use electronic communication as a definition of bullying? I thought it was, which is, maybe not. Any intentional electronic, written, verbal, or physical, I mean, isn't cyberbullying electronic? Isn't that the definition of it?
I don't really like that term, but
I don't know.
I think colloquially, yes.
Right.
Electronic.
Using it, it uses electronics as a
Right.
means.
Right. I don't know, I'm just, yeah.
But if you're bullying over, semaphore or cups and string, it's still bullying, right?
But that's bullying, right? That's not, and which we encompass, so is cyberbullying. Yeah, I mean, like Art saying, how do we fight, isn't it, it's using the internet or some type of electronic source like your telephone?
Because cyberbullying wasn't in the previous.
Right, but that's where right, and it defines bullying as an intentional electronic, written, verbal, or physical act.
Well, we just say cyberbullying as defined in the company regulation, and then we'll just use whatever the law, because the law contains it.
Oh, well, that's handy. It's
That's-
better than having to try to define it ourselves.
I thought,
He has to, cyberbullying as defined by law.
Why don't you say the company regulation?
Apparently there's a statute. It's nice. Cyber harassment is defined.
Yeah, so, oh, we'll find
I
it.
love, all right,
We'll find it.
So Sarah, this is a good one for you.
It's
great.
electronic.
The statement that says neither reprisals nor retaliation would be tolerated as a result of the submission of a good faith complaint of bullying, which implies that it's not in good faith, reprisals or retaliation can occur. You see what that is?
We can punish a kid who's making a false statement, false testimony. We can, absolutely.
Okay.
If they can, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I read that,
Objectives.
when I read that though, I thought the reprisals and retaliation we're talking about potentially from the bully, not from us.
Uh-huh.
But wait,
Yes, that's how I read it.
I think
I see what you're saying.
That's how I do it, yeah. Because that's initially bullying.
Oh, that shouldn't be in passive voice.
I mean, we should never be, there should be no retaliation. There's never be retaliation by us. There could be repercussions, but for somebody who doesn't,
Even if it's bad faith, even if it wasn't, there should be retaliation.
that's my point.
Yeah, from the.
From us.
Yeah, or from.
Well, right.
Well, yeah, if you are not making good faith, you're lying to try to get someone into trouble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's repercussions of that, but retaliation.
Neither reprisal nor retaliation shall be tolerated as a result. But yeah,
What
who's it shall be tolerated?
is a reprisal?
That doesn't.
Well, I'm also thinking that if you're talking about
Who
connection
is-
with another student, I
who
mean,
is
you
it?
can't really, somebody says, is telling her that it's good making false accusations against me bullying, it's not really a reprisal. And reprisal or retaliation are pretty much the same thing.
By the district.
Well, reprisal is sort of a do it again, almost like would be how I would make that match, but as opposed to retaliation, which is the opposite, I think.
Something unpleasant done to punish an enemy or opponent. So the reprisal means, this is talking about from another, we won't tolerate it from a student who's been accused of bullying. In good faith.
So I think we should say that, because we don't want the interpretation that we can't punish someone for making bad faith, or making good faith, okay? Right, I mean, good faith, that makes sense. So back to our original question.
The district shall take no. What are you trying to say, that no repercussions will occur as a result of the submission of a good faith complaint?
Well, the original question was, but what if it's not good faith from our?
I don't think that's what.
That's not what it says, right? They're saying if someone thought something was happening, we're not gonna harm them, even if it turns out that it wasn't actual bullying. If they really thought it was, we're not gonna punish someone. That's what it's saying.
We shouldn't even require it, you know, it shall be tolerated by any student as a result of another student's complaint of bullying.
Correct.
This is the only one here. So
Or staff.
no, we don't need reprisal for retaliation, it's the same word.
Right.
Reprisals, retaliation by a student against another student as a result of submission of good faith complaint of bullying shall not be tolerated. As a result of a submission, as a result of a complaint of bullying shall not be tolerated.
Retaliation by a student, which is
Against another student.
Are we worried, I mean, this is just students, because we're not talking about staff, like say, you know, that's the only,
And then we have staff.
right, but I mean, yes, a staff member is upset at someone. so-
Retaliation by a student against
Someone
another
else.
student as a result. That's right, now, you can take out those other words. You can take out every word between. Take out shall be tolerated. As a result of, take out the submission. Okay, submission of a good faith example. As a result of a complaint of bullying. Shall not be tolerated. Or you want to say it, that shall constitute a violation of this policy.
I think that's better.
It shall constitute a violation of this policy.
Basically, shall also count as bullying.
Yeah, it's bullying. Bullying is bullying.
Shouldn't be bullying the bully.
Okay.
Item 4 on that list sets forth posting requirements for this policy, and there's a verb missing, I think. It doesn't read right. Sets forth posting requirements for this policy. Not sure how that works.
No, for this policy and the company, you got to post both.
And the company administrative regulations?
Policy and the written. Right.
Sets forth posting requirements for this policy
It
and the
says-
company administrative.
Everything required is required to implement this policy.
I think it's fine.
Okay. So we, okay.
I'll send another reminder, I used to remind classrooms that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask where, I guess it would be
Anything else?
they are. They actually posted in every classroom.
I can set the reminder in probably a couple of years.
In elementary schools
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
all building, wow.
Yeah. Send closer. Are we good? Any other changes? All right, so that's first read. We didn't make any changes to an AR, it wasn't on but we can always look at that next if you want. Do we want to add the AR to our next policy committee meeting?
Okay, I already looked at it.
Okay, well,
There's a parent-teacher conference. That's one of the comments on that AR.
all right. I'll have it just in case, since we're,
Mhm.
so bring it at the next meeting, the next piece meeting. All right, now we're into the fun stuff, the 600s. So that is the next section that is being reviewed. Brenda is here, and she's been, her, Michelle, and Ed met over the summer to go over a lot of the 600s, so.
And our goal was to finish all 600s in September.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
That's the goal.
It's a goal.
Well, we were also looking at these 4s and 5s, so we found out the 6s are easier than the 300, 400, 500, so here they are. So the first is tax levy.
So the new wording here at the bottom, what's the actual rule on ARs? The board doesn't have to approve changes to ARs?
No, yes, we do, just not approved on substantive changes.
Right.
Yeah,
So this says basically even non-substantive changes must be approved by the board.
no, non-substantive changes do not.
But
Right,
there's
so
the word.
yeah.
Now they-
Any amendments, which is formally authorized, our policy requires that anyway.
Okay.
Does this say
So we
anything?
probably
I
don't
guess
do
my
anything.
question, does that new wording actually say anything?
Only if.
We changed, we changed the other
We
policy.
have to go back and change this.
All right, we'll leave it on there, I guess, just in case that were to happen. If, I
Why
don't
would this policy be different than any other policy?
Because
It sounds like Castle. What?
Because because
because this
the
is,
first case arguably requires
Person.
on the board.
right,
Administration.
yeah,
Okay.
as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
I think it's fine just to be
All right.
redundant, but it's
Yeah. All right. Valley Forge. Our favorite Supreme Court case. All right, so the AR has like,
So the new wording on the AR strikes me as sort of being worded backwards. Like, shouldn't we, like this says when we shouldn't do it. Shouldn't we have wording that says when we should do it? Shouldn't file an appeal. So this says, the new wording says, determine whether the anticipated cost to file outweighs the potential benefits. Shouldn't it be determined whether the potential benefits outweigh the costs? Like, are we trying to determine when we, isn't the whole purpose of the policy to determine when we should file an appeal, not when we shouldn't?
Yes.
I think the attempt was trying to put in,
The balance of the two, I get that.
Yeah. in the administrative grade what the process is. I mean, obviously, that's the process.
But in theory.
yeah,
If
switch
the
those,
benefits and the
switch
costs
those
were
away.
exactly the same, it's not clear what you would do.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah,
Well,
so
yes,
I think you should, I think you should flip. So
We're
it should
gonna flip
determine whether the
Potential benefits.
potential benefits to the district
Outweigh the anticipated cost to file and litigate.
District initiated assessment.
I would put the district
Concept.
initiated at the front also. Determine whether the potential benefits to the district to file and litigate a district initiated assessment appeal on such property outweighs the anticipated cost to file and
I
litigate.
think it potentially outweighs, because you really never know with all the litigation that could arise.
Mm.
Gonna raise the cost.
likely outweigh.
You know, someone,
So my question was actually whether or not we needed that sentence at all, because we already give the monetary cost at the end of the 10,000. So, because it's already presuming that the benefits increase, or if far outweighs the litigation costs. Does that make sense? Like, so I was actually asking.
But that 10,000 is only about the potential increase in revenue. It doesn't say anything about the cost to go through the process.
And that $10,000 is an annual.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, for the year.
I'm fine with the changes.
All right, we're good. So the policies for first reading. technically we'll bring the AR back.
Did we change any of that, or we just left it alone?
We just changed the
We
order.
we reordered it, but the benefits outweigh the cost. So,
But again, my point is litigation lasts for 5 years,
well, then the potential benefits probably won't outweigh the,
but we never know how long litigation.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's wording.
likely, yeah, I think they put, he put
But
likely.
what's
and
likely?
likely.
You said potential.
Potential.
I would say likely instead of potential.
Okay,
Because likely means you're actually making a determination.
potential, okay.
Okay.
If you say potential.
I'm good. Okay.
Well, right. Likely, I think is a better word here, right?
Okay.
Instead of potential.
Close. Okay,
Okay.
good.
So what we're gonna, so the AR technically comes back to the next policy committee meeting anyway. I'm making a note that we looked at it, not that that really matters, because we'll probably look at it again, but at least we did look at it, so it's first reading anyway for the policy. We'll see the AR, hopefully.
Is that dollar amount, is that, are you finding it's district specific, 10,000 versus 8,000?
No, generally,
It's a rule of thumb in many places. It's
yes,
Okay,
not across the board, but it's a rule of thumb in many places.
yeah, that's what most districts.
okay.
All right, so 605 goes forward, policy. We'll see the same here back next month. Tuition income, 607.
Just had a question to ask, Michelle, if you know the answer, how many of these we get per year?
Yeah.
We do get requests.
Oh,
We get requests, how many approvals do we do a year?
To my knowledge, we haven't approved any.
Right.
Did you, were you asking about requests?
But you get them.
We don't.
Well, you got them when you got to take care.
Oh, but that was,
Yeah.
And we still.
Well, these are voluntarily, these are the ones where we are compelled by some law to take a kid from another district.
And when we do fair share with
Oh,
the
yeah.
IU, we do have other students from other districts, and they are billed an appropriate tuition rate at the end of the year.
Yeah. But I guess that's
Okay,
the parents
that's-
slash guardians requesting such accommodation, I guess that's the.
No, they're not our students, they're other district students that are here, and they're being mainstreamed for the, I'm sorry, that's old nomenclature
Included.
included. So yes, there's usually some time that we have.
So this policy doesn't say anything about granting authority to deny such requests, or even anything about requests. This just starts after the request happens. This is,
Yes, right, this is a different section.
That's right. This has to do with the calculation and collection.
Right.
Yeah, this is,
Yeah.
once this happens, this is what we do.
Right.
Finances.
Right. Okay.
Where's the other one?
I feel like you do it.
Operation, no, not.
attendance, we eligibility for non-resident students.
There we go, come on,
We
yeah.
don't use it when we have somebody who we catch or we find out that they don't really live here, but they're saying that they do, we catch up with them. And we can charge them.
202.
Just got the thing.
All right. We good moving 607 to first read?
Mhm.
Woo-hoo. All right. 608.
So the business administrator is authorized to obtain quotes for banking services, not required to do so or periodically or to do anything with those quotations or anything, right? There we- All we're doing is saying Brenda can go out and check how much it would cost. Couldn't she do that anyway?
Could, and once upon a time, it was a frequent practice, but actually, there's not even that many banks or institutions that are interested in doing governmental work.
So why do we have this new wording here?
Because that's who you want to have do it. You don't want.
Treasurer or the
somebody else
board?
doing- You want somebody else doing it.
Each deposit.
So if that applies to
it's-
only the business, so you were saying the business administrator is authorized, you're implying that only the assistant administrator is authorized.
Correct.
It didn't look like we had authorized anyone before, according to this.
Well, I don't think we need to authorize anyone, but I think Ken is saying we're only going to trust the business administrator.
Interest, yes. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, yes. That's my way of it. You know, you can trust the period. I'm just saying that's why this would be in here.
Yeah. That's good enough.
I'm good with
It
this.
says nothing to do with finance, but that very first line, can we just strike the by majority?
We had a
of the
vote,
full
yeah.
board?
Well, no.
Because isn't that the assumption?
Of the
We're saying
full
that the
board?
board is acting.
It's a
Yeah,
full
you
board.
could have 6 people at a meeting, you could have 4 people.
So it's a full board,
Okay, so you
that-
need to have all.
that's the
There are
operative.
certain votes that you have
Yes.
as majority of the full board, and there's certain that you just get majority of the quorum.
Okay.
All right, that makes sense.
Just
I looked at it too.
Uh,
It's the word full that actually
It's
is
never-
the important word.
It's subtle.
Right,
And this is our goal, we don't.
Well,
state
or
it.
3 board members have a relationship.
but it might be
with the
state
bank.
law, because it's, it
Okay,
looks like
that's all.
state law.
Mhm.
It's a state law thing, it's
Okay.
it's section 508,
That's
yeah,
fine.
that's the difference.
Just strike it out.
No, it does, it absolutely, like, we don't.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, that is bank account 608, first read.
Brenda, does it ever happen? So it says employees shall not accept cash checks payable to the district unless authorized in advance by the business administrator. Does that ever happen?
I'm trying to think, petty cash would be the only thing.
Okay, petty cash. yeah.
And we do have 6 petty cash accounts, that's it. And there are fewer and fewer activities being conducted by cash,
Yeah,
by check.
that's why I asked.
Oh,
Trying to get rid of it. That might
And
be-
petty cash.
All right, 615, payroll deductions.
Anything about Janice?
Actually, this was, we went over that after this report, so I know we did take that into consideration.
Any lawful provision is the, contained in the CBA, so that's your catch-all.
I have a wording thing on the delegation of responsibility. I don't like the when an employee because it implies the time. And the board,
Where?
you know, the board is authorizes the business administrator to make payroll deductions from,
Where?
like,
Okay,
as authorized by the employee,
okay.
by written, well, with written authorization from the employee, or
Right.
something like that. Trying to avoid the word when.
Okay. Can we do where? Or as, like,
Why don't you just simply say, take out the when an employee, appropriate form, take out all of that.
Board begins.
Say
Authorizes.
or authorizes.
second part of the sentence.
Make payroll deductions as authorized by the
For
employee.
first purposes as authorized.
Mhm.
Well, make your
Written.
directions as authorized by the employee.
Yeah.
Right, but we want a written authorization.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what written in there?
Written
Authorized
authorization,
by the
yeah,
employee or this policy.
on the appropriate form. I think that's the thing, we don't want someone just like write the note. We want them to actually fill out the actual form.
Should the form be attached?
That should be,
Or reference?
it's just a regulation. It should
If
be
there is
a
no
regulation.
reg,
Well, if there is a form, then it should
Attached
be
form.
attached, it should be the regulation.
Mhm.
Form school.
So we need a regulation to go with this policy?
it should just be the reg. Yeah, the reg,
Regulations,
exactly.
one sentence, the form authorizes is attached.
Add AR with form.
Is authorized by
We'll
this.
create one,
agreement.
we'll create one that'll be like literally a one sentence thing and that it'll have the attachment to it, so. So we'll bring back the AR.
You had something else there? Ken?
at
No,
next.
that would have a policy we're gonna have here.
Okay. All right, that was 615. Now we're on to 619, district audit.
You said there's no
Yeah, we're gonna make a new AR, that's what's gonna, the attachment will be a part of 615. Yep,
The form that will not be all encompassing. I didn't want to go back to that because there are different forms. For example, a TSA deduction will need to be signed. Do we need to have another form?
You can, no, we can, when we do the error, we can create all the forms we need. This isn't boxing us into any one form.
I'm just saying it'll be a little redundant because we're going to have somebody turning in W-4 that they have to sign. It's a perfectly logical form, but yet they're going to have to attach it to a form that they're signing for submission. I'm trying to understand.
Well, let's do it offline then.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
I'll figure it out, okay. All right, 619, there's a paragraph about it.
Just so everyone understands regarding the paragraph, part of the issue is the fact that policy dates back to 2004. The delegation of responsibility or what is being discussed there is required normally, I think, since Act 1 went into place in 2006. So superintendent every year has been signing and we can file that as necessary. It's just bringing policy up to date.
All right, is there a site that we can put after that? Like that, wherever Act 1 is, sign it?
You want to slide it into?
Yeah, I mean, if it's one of these laws that's already on there,
We can have
just
it.
add the site at the end of it.
I have an overriding question as well. And at the end of authority, it says, make the results of the audits available to the public at the business office. Many other places we say we'll make things available on the website, even in policy, I think.
And ours have been,
Yeah, we have.
if you look at our website, they're
Yeah.
there for a number of years.
So
Mhm.
do we want to update that as well?
And the district website?
But both are just one. Just one.
I think we would call it kind
Good.
of, yeah, I would.
Right.
It's always available to the business office. I mean,
Yeah.
It needs to be on the website, but.
Yeah, and the district. All right. That's first read too.
Is there a form number of that document that superintendent signs? That's not. is that-
It's actually part of the PDE, I believe it's the 2028 is now,
It's another part of the 2020.
either that or the PDE 2057, which is the annual financial report, so I'd have to check them out to see.
And it's just the superintendent
Correct.
or does it?
actually, it's probably just the superintendent.
It probably is just the superintendent.
In this case, I certainly have never signed it, but it comes from, has the auditor's information on it as well.
Okay.
And it's a check and balance and make sure that the superintendent does sign it and file a PDE. The very last sentence,
Did you just have that?
No, that wasn't.
No, they're just in case, like, if something were to happen, I would think.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
If something were to happen,
Right. Incapacitation or,
the superintendent.
right.
We were talking about the designee.
Yeah, but then the board would just authorize somebody else in that particular instance. It would, you don't need to have a policy that says,
Okay.
when time came to approve your budget, you didn't have any, but sure.
Well, this isn't to approve the budget.
No, I know,
This
it's
is-
a signed statement, but your budget resolution says, your budget resolution pretty much says this anyway.
Right.
I guess my point is you don't need to worry about providing
That.
contingency because you have the opportunity.
Okay, to,
And you typically approve that
okay,
as part of the budget resolution.
okay,
anyway.
okay. All right, so we're good with 619? That's for first reading as well. So fund balance. So this is new. I mean, not this new, but it's,
It's new heavy from that. This is new.
but it's not new. There's the update is significant.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
And a
There's a
big
lot of
part-
new words.
Yeah, it's the definitions of the rules that are contained, non-expendable, restricted.
My questions are about not in the definitions. Should I dive in?
Go in.
Underneath delegation of responsibility, the first big paragraph says notwithstanding the above framework. My question, Brenda, when it says prior to the issuance of the audited financial statements, meaning it has to be done before that point, and then at that point they're locked in, or you can't do it, or, like, I don't understand the limitation of prior to the issuance of the audited financial statements.
Well, it depends upon, as far as assigned fund balances, it does have to be done. What's within the purview for the business administrator or administration to do, it has to occur before the financial statements are published for the year.
You can assign fund balance up until the audited financial statements. And then they remain assigned, right? I mean,
Until the next year. There's a difference in what is committed.
I understand this unit assignment committed, so the wording here just is confusing, because I think it implies that once the audited financial statements are published, that assignments go away. And I know that's not the case, but that's how I think I read this.
Okay, that's, I hear what you're saying. The assignments are assigned could change from when they're announced.
But you can't, it has to be done between July 1st and the time of the
When they're
publication of the
Correct.
financial.
And remember, we have deadlines as to when we can, when we have to publish our financial statements in order to comply with EMA, the electronic messaging that we have to do.
Yeah.
So essentially, this all goes back to December 31st, which we have in the previous policy. And then they don't change after that point in time. And not only would it be for the financial statements, Mark, but it would also be within the general ledger and you know, what we work with on a monthly basis. I'm not answering your
I'm
question.
wondering if maybe this paragraph isn't needed.
What if there was something that it would not be used very often? But if there was some, almost like a subsequent event,
The auditor told you to change something. No, that's of course the auditor says to you, you need to change, you've got this in the wrong place.
no, that's adjusting entries. This has to do with assigning fund balance at the end of the year.
So we don't actually publish the financial statements.
Well,
for like a
what if the
month.
auditor makes recommendations?
The auditor could make recommendations, but there also are some things that happen subsequent again to June 30th before the financial statements are published that may not need board action or commitment, which usually does occur with the exception of bring stabilization plan before June 30th of any given year. So that would give the business administrator the opportunity to assign something within fund balance.
So if we're, okay, then that's not what I understood this paragraph to be. So
Okay.
then I think it should be more explicit. It should say the business administrator is authorized, with the board policy, so basically authorized by the board, to make assignments between the end of the year and the time
The issuance of
the issue.
audited financial statements.
But do we really want to, I mean, that's, to authorize you to make assignments in that window, when we don't authorize you to make assignments in the rest of the year, seems weird. Like, why would we authorize you to make assignments without board action there and not, in October?
Always something like this would be discussed with the board before it would happen. I mean, the
Yeah.
last thing.
In which case, I don't think we need to make that
Any business
consolidation.
administrator wants to have the board see an assignment of $1 million, $500,000, or $250,000 without having discussed it with the board. So,
Right.
again,
And I think we don't need this paragraph.
I mean, I'm looking at it as a subsequent event, what's referred to in accounting and auditing as a subsequent event transaction. Again, the board would.
So the risk then is that the window would close because you don't have a board meeting before the financial statements are going to get published, and you need to do this.
Typically, we have a good idea, Mark, by October, what everything is going to be in the financial statements, and then they're still not published. We need to put
Yeah.
everything.
You're making his case then to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on.
let's just strike it.
Okay, with paragraph, sorry.
Not the notwithstanding
No,
paragraph.
it's right after the number 4.
Yeah.
So Ken, can you take
Go
over?
again.
If anyone's.
The notwithstanding paragraph.
No, I'm actually less comfortable now than I've ever been with not having board approved fund balance designations.
Yeah.
People are watching this.
And I, certainly, since I've been a number double, we've never had any assignment or have been discussed with finance, so.
Right.
More than just discussion, it should be approved.
Well, then it would become a commitment. It would no longer be assigned, it would be a commitment.
Oh,
Wait,
Because that's the difference between
well, no, you said assigned, maybe it's not by the board or finance committee.
maybe assigned, but committed is,
committed is by the full board.
yeah, and that, it goes to a public agenda item.
Well, but not every designation by the board is committed. It could also just be.
Say, and we are going to assign this.
Well, it says maybe, and I think that,
Right. That gives
there
us
are
the
certain
wiggle
things
room.
within accounting, non-spendable, may be assigned by the business administrator. Well, items that are in inventory, they're not spendable, they've been spent. That's usually one of the items that shows up in fund balance. Restricted, would be something along the same line.
No, but I'm saying you can have the board approve an assignment, but it doesn't mean that it becomes committed for purposes of.
Because we
policy.
voted on it,
No,
Agreed.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Ken on that. Yeah, but that, I don't think this contradicts that, does it?
yeah.
No, that's why I think you can just.
Take it out.
Oh, okay, right, oh.
Well,
All right.
like,
Okay, all right.
No, disagreeing.
No, I'm
Striking
striking.
that paragraph.
Then I have a question, if we have an assigned amount, because a commitment cannot be spent or undone except by vote of the board,
Right.
what about an assignment?
Sure.
Well,
So the word may.
the policy doesn't say anything about it, right? I mean, is that a problem? About whether an assignment can be,
I'm actually okay if you take out that language, I was just trying to point out some of the differences
Yeah.
regarding accounting language, regarding commitment, assigned, restricted, and non-spendable. That's all.
do you want to include assignments as part of the annual process that's in the next paragraph? Would that resolve that concern? So the next paragraph says that annually we'll review our commitments, basically, summarizing. We want to annually also review our assignments.
And we can certainly do that. Assignments again usually do disappear on an annual basis and have to be reassigned if they are deemed to be necessary to carry forward. But yes, put that in there, that would be fine.
All right, and the last paragraph, in this, and the silence here.
I put assignments and
Assignments.
commitments, assignments and commitments, or assignments, comma, commitments.
Movements and reserves, yeah.
You can count after. All right, go.
All right, so the 5 and 8, I know we've talked about this, anytime we've talked about, in the past, I remember saying having it between the 5% and 8%. And that is the guideline from
PD,
PD.
as far as 8%.
Right,
Of course, that's very clear, unassigned,
yes. Yes.
and, you know, uncommitted.
Right.
Brenda, a question for you under guidelines. It's in that first paragraph, it's the only place where it doesn't add the designee. Is that clearly going to fall on you in terms of those responsibilities?
Where is this?
Under
Under
guidelines,
guidelines.
the first paragraph.
Shall be responsible.
I just
Yeah,
want to make
it's
sure we're
like
not,
that, yeah.
if we need to add or doesn't add.
Right.
Um,
Seems, that is the job of the business administrator.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
You
Yeah.
don't, you don't need a designate.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I
That
think
5
that
to
is
8,
her
third
job.
paragraph there, that 5 to 8% one, that we were just talking about, I think that says nothing, I don't think we need it. Unless we're trying to say in policy that we have a target of keeping our on-time fund balance.
Which I think
above
is
5%.
essentially what it's.
That's what
Yeah,
it's
that's-
saying, that's what it's saying.
Then I think we should say that.
And
And
we can add
also,
that sentence. So you add it above that, and then I would say,
um,
the end.
yes, and then I want to go back to the assigned, because
Because it's, I think it's a powerful statement to explicitly say that
I think
it's
so
our
too.
policy that to maintain an unassigned fund balance at least 5% of expenditure.
Yeah, at least 5%, no more than 8% of our.
It can't be more than 8% by law.
I know, but that's why we put it in there, people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but that makes one of the points going back to the sign, which I should have thought of, is that if we had a very good year, 1 year, and all of a sudden at the end, as we're getting ready to issue our finances, and we had something come in and we're now at over
Yeah.
8%,
What do we do?
we would not, without the ability to assign that amount of money, we could be in
Yeah,
violation.
you can't publish it, you can't publish it until you've made that assignment. If we don't have a board meeting, then we're delaying the publication of the, we actually authorize the publication, I mean, it doesn't matter, because we still have to authorize the publication.
It's what your budget says, it's not what it actually turns out to. It's what your budget you pass on in June says about the 8%. But
That's
that,
true.
school districts routinely
Get more
go
money.
over the 8%.
Right.
Now, and what a lot of school districts do, they have
We won't,
historically, is have the business manager just move it over and sign it almost
Right.
automatically.
If that's what the paragraph.
And that was what the
Yeah.
paragraph allows, but,
Then-
yeah.
that practice has come under some
Oh,
criticism.
exactly,
because of
that's the
ordinance
problem.
involved.
Right.
In Lower Marion and some other places,
Mhm.
yes, but again, it would be up to
Nice
us to
problem to
have
have, yeah.
the conversation.
Well, I don't think you've gone over the rate 8%.
Pardon me?
If you- I mean,
No, we haven't,
Have not, have gone over the 8%, yeah, so.
Unassigned?
not recently.
No.
We are not in jeopardy typically of that, so, yeah.
Below 5%.
Yes.
We spent many years.
But we're in between 5 and 8, we're doing all right.
You
so,
know, you
yeah.
usually don't,
We would never.
what happens between you time you pass the budget and tend to get your financial statements doesn't usually take it below 5. It might take it higher until he doesn't take it
Yes.
lower.
We hope so.
Okay.
So, all right, so I'm inclined to either add to or replace this third paragraph with a statement that says,
I would add to.
it is the board's goal, is that the right word?
I don't,
To maintain an unassigned fund balance that is at least 5% of expenditures, budgeted expenditures.
This is the correct paragraph.
I like that. Goal.
It's a matter of sound budgeting practice.
There we go, there we go. Love that. Is this the correct paragraph?
Mhm.
Choosing?
And it's clear you're making a statement of philosophy as opposed
That-
to.
that-
Yeah, this is a philosophy
Give
statement.
some fun.
Can't you just strike
We-
that second
yeah,
paragraph, the unassigned, just replace it with Mark's?
Yeah,
It's
let's,
a matter of sound.
Well, that's what I was saying, I would say either add to or replace.
As a
I say
matter of
just replace it,
sound.
instead word being repetitive. So whatever the sentence will be, I think you
Budgeting
just
practice.
strike
there
it.
we go.
Well, the word.
Believes.
Mhm.
The word.
Direct.
Full strike?
practice. And then if you got a sign below, yeah, the board,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't get anything exception. Just comment that as a practice and capitalize the I. I think you're good.
Well, I think
Well,
we were
then I
saying
think
we
the word
wanted,
shall
It's some
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
change.
well, I think we
may.
wanted, yeah,
Change
it's
may to
stronger.
shall.
Yeah. Well, shall,
Where?
ING.
I don't know.
There.
Budgeting practice, yeah.
Right, and then go down to where the board,
Does the board may pursue, change that to shall.
the board, yeah,
I don't know, I don't want to, I mean, if there's,
should.
Well, there's only two choices. There's only increasing revenues or decreasing expenditures. There aren't. There is no other.
well, it's still, what I'm saying is, it's our goal versus if something were to happen now, we would absolutely have to. If it's 4.5%, we are now locked into doing this, if this is, I mean, I kind of like the idea of, this is what we're really targeting and trying to do, versus forcing our hand that we have to do it. If we get below 5% once, if we get to 4.8, we gotta.
Well, then I think you're advocating not having this sentence, this whole
Okay.
paragraph in here at all.
Oh, I do.
Which I think is also okay. But, I
Okay.
mean, I generally don't like putting philosophy in policy.
Okay.
But it would be a powerful statement to do so.
Yeah.
Let me just, check out some.
And it's a helpful tool at times because we can point to our own policy and say the reason we're not spending every penny is because it's not wise to spend every penny. Because we have declared a policy that we won't do that.
But what we're saying there, the board shall pursue variations of increase. We're going to pursue it, but it doesn't mean we're going to.
But I think to Mark's point, PE allows you to have a certain percentage of fund balance in your fund balance.
Right.
But I think a lot of times the argument is, well, don't raise taxes because you have fund balance, or you can do this because you have fund balance. And we have to help people understand that this is their savings, akin to their savings account. And if we just spend on the fund balance, there will be nothing left.
So instead of all that pursue variations, you
Alright.
can just strike that and just say the board intends to have an unassigned fund balance between 5 and 8% of the total. Just strike that middle jargon. Make it as simple as that.
Works for me.
Starting where?
So after the board intends to have. Everyone can change it. And then strike everything after until N. And the next line. Right after until.
Keep going, keep going.
The board intends
Strike
to
that.
maintain.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Then you need-
obviously,
then you
say
need to
you
strike
strike
out.
it.
Well, then strike out,
Yeah, your place happens.
should you say as a matter of some budgeting practice, the board intends to have.
Maintain.
Ah,
Yes,
take this up.
Maintain, it's fine,
Maintain.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good collaboration here.
Thank you.
All this? and
Yeah.
that?
Thank you,
And
Don.
then just change have to maintain.
Okay.
Where's
Now,
that?
if you intend to have, read it.
You're
I
missing
don't know why
a
it's
C.
so little.
Yeah, it was have to go back to.
Nope, wrong spot.
Nope.
Instead of have.
Oh, that actually just jumped because I had it.
Right.
Maintain.
And then you're missing a T in right before the board. It just says he board.
Then you gotta get rid of is attained.
Just, yeah, drop the is attained at the end, yeah. right.
Here. Is that good, Brendan? I think that's what we're trying to get at.
And best practice.
When I want to between 5 and 8. All right.
Did I just one other technical thing for Gatsby? Can we cite what that acronym means?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense, at the top.
That's how we got you to the board, yeah.
Board.
Parentheses, can you just add that, under guessing, every time we have an acronym?
It's good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add that later.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
can add it now, she just defined it for you. Government.
Yeah. Governmental.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can add it. We can move on.
Yeah. All right, is there anything else on 620? That'll be a first read. All right. 625. Wait, 10 minutes, people.
Well, all of these, and sort of Ken sitting here, these are fairly recent because of the federal.
Right, it was recent we did this, I remember
June
this.
2nd, 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Like
we
2 years
really
ago.
made a lot of changes. Did we?
It doesn't look like there's any changes to the policy.
No, not really.
No, so I think we actually can get through that pretty quickly.
All right, yeah, I don't see any changes to the actual policy.
That's right.
So we're ready for first read for 620, so I'm still on.
Yeah, you got it.
They're all there.
Oh, okay. The policy's listed on here, but there's no actual changes to the policy, so it's just good practice to have it on there, so when we're looking at things, we know what we're talking about.
No changes, and they were reviewed by our solicitors.
Yes.
It's, assessor's office.
Someone in the.
All right, fine, yeah, we'll give you
The
coverage.
person in the, yes, list was actually done more.
So can I just
It
write
does
next to
work.
the policy, 625 review?
Yes.
Yep, we're just gonna put review today's date.
Right.
I mean, under the regs.
All of these elected,
I'm sorry.
all of these have no changes?
Well,
There's a slight
Slight
change,
change.
there's some number changes in, what's it, the third one, procurement.
Procurement, exactly, it has to do with, because it has to do with the policy number changes that we've made by
Yep.
eliminating and combining.
Yeah, and then we increased the thresholds.
Yes.
So,
So those are all.
nothing in 625,
Not in the policy.
not in the policy.
And then we have all these ARs that are like, they're still in 625, but then they're
Oh, okay.
specific
Areas.
subsections, yeah.
Oh.
Allowability,
Okay.
cash
It's our favorite
management,
policy.
procurement.
Yeah, so I think the only one is just procurement, right? And the ARs that we have changes to. So the rest of them, unless there are changes, we'll list in the policy book that we reviewed them on today's date. However, we'll bring forward 625, AR 625 procurement to the board meeting
Mhm.
for approval once we decide to approve. So that's
So
committee.
officially back to committee for approval.
So we don't have to bring it back.
Oh, we don't?
No, we can go straight to, because we aren't making any modifications to
So
the policy.
approval then,
Mhm.
September.
So, every year those amounts are increased, or they tend to be increased. So does that have to come back to the board then,
Oh, I-
to approve the AR?
It's AR, since we require approvals to ARs.
Okay.
Just like any other area.
Just,
Yeah.
Unless you want to, it's not really a non-significant change, so, yeah.
And these are the latest amounts?
You should
Yes,
know,
sir.
you should,
Yeah.
because you want to be consciously aware,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so it's a good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just the number and the policy number, so I don't see,
No, it's,
yeah. Unless anyone sees any other editing. Editorial.
well, on one page, under procurement, they did change some capitalization.
I saw that. Yes, there were some
Lowercase everything.
technical changes.
Under the policy, just two small ones.
Okay.
Superintendent or designated, and under the third paragraph on that as well, just, I think it's missing the or designated as well. But strike the
that's
or
exciting.
his or hers.
Yeah, that's fine, that's not
Yeah, exactly.
subset, that's just, we can make that change without
Yep.
advancing it to the, exactly.
So making his or her there.
Just superintendent or
Or,
designated.
you don't have, yeah, you just take out
And
his
then under
slash
that
her.
third one,
Yeah.
add another or designated as well. That's it.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not anything. All right, so we've reviewed these. And we'll advance Regulation 625 procurement to the board meeting for approval. All right. See, we know how to schedule meetings, that's important.
Reminder, sir, 246, birthday food,
What did you say?
birthday food, reminder, 246.
Yes, thank you. So last year, if you recall, when we were looking at board policy, we made a change to birthday celebrations, and we gave a one-year period of time for people to say, for birthday celebrations, don't bring in food for the birthday celebration. This is obviously most impactful in the elementary schools. And try to go to a non-food celebration item. So we did that last year. Last year we asked teachers to encourage people not to bring in food. And this year, the policy goes into effect that they are not supposed to bring in food. So that's something that we probably need to reiterate with the teachers and are ready to talk to the parents about. And we just make sure that that's the policy we are going forward with. Right? Okay. So I know that different teachers, had different feelings on this, but definitely it is, can make it easier for certain classrooms, especially where there's multiple types of allergies. And we are not changing anything regarding other, like the Halloween party, Valentine's. There's going to be plenty of food in our classrooms. This is just a matter for the birthday celebration specifically. So.
Another thought I had was
Yeah.
for the, where we had mentioned the finance committee and their agenda and everything else, that
Yeah.
policy should be sent over to the finance committee. So
The 600?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
The 5 to 8% thing?
yeah, for their consideration as well.
Yeah, and Vanessa?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Just make sure
will,
that all the policies are being disseminated to the people,
right, people.
like the finance.
And that's a
committee.
great way to start, kick off the beginning conversations for 2019.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Okay.
So I'll make sure that it's on the finance agenda, 625. Or not 625. 620. Send to finance, as an FYI. Or they can send it back to us. We get recommendations. All right.
Good.
Yeah, they could. All right, so unless Jason has anything for community input today,
I think I'm good.
all right.
Can I bring up something quick?
Yes,
It's not on the agenda, so maybe, but I
You're
have
allowed.
a question about 006.
okay.
Because at the last operations committee meeting, I interpreted it to mean that a certain person couldn't speak at community input because it explicitly says that community input is only for residents and taxpayers. And I wanted to, A, make sure that I interpreted it correctly, that I, as the chair of that committee, had no opportunity to waive that requirement, and ensure that that's what we wanted to say. And maybe that's a consideration for future meetings, but curious whether I got that right.
Well, you correctly interpreted the policy, and then you weren't required to let the person speak. Whether you had the discretion to allow it under those circumstances. Let's see.
Public participation from the district
Yeah, it's a
residents.
committee meeting.
So right in the next sentence, it says that the time limits can be waived. So I assumed that if there was an opportunity to waive, that it would have said that there was an opportunity to waive. So I assumed that there was not. That I did not even have discretion to allow the person.
Based on 006?
Yeah.
06, isn't it?
006.
Hearing members of-
Under hearing of members of the public.
Right.
What should happen is when somebody in that situation should give us a heads up that they're coming.
Yeah.
It can be put on the agenda.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
absolutely, I agree with that.
But
But given the
a response could be, well, had we known you were coming, you had asked to be put on the agenda, we could have made those arrangements, but since you've chosen to speak in public comment, I don't have any discretion to let you speak at this time, but we'll be happy to talk to you afterwards. That would, if I was to Mike Monday morning quarterback, I mean, it could be exactly what you said.
Well,
I wish I had
the
said.
second part was,
Yeah.
it was the first part of, had you
And I thought,
notified us to
but
put
I
on the
didn't say it, I
agenda.
didn't say it aloud,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to chastise them for not notifying us.
Right.
It would have been.
But the second part was that he could meet with us afterwards. Yeah, that was indicated on the record. I believe
Yeah.
both you and
gotta shut up,
Dr.
please.
Ludwig
No, I haven't
said that on the agenda.
For,
Are we-
you're doing this?
No, he's doing this on the record.
Are you doing it on the record?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I'd like it to be.
This is
Yeah,
on the
we're still
record,
recording.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, no, it was the second part that I think Dr. Ludwig and both Mr. Sirota said that he'd be more than willing to discuss the matter after the conclusion of the meeting. And that request was,
Yeah.
So you were
Refused.
Did not
Yeah.
take, did not take us up.
did not take a close
Can there
look.
cannot be a waiver requested?
Well, I'm looking to see.
Or, you know, is there
I'll
something
make
to
a
do to waive the
motion.
entire policy? Like, could
Okay.
the committee have said, well, we're not gonna,
Yeah.
like, is that a legal thing? Could we have done that if we chose to? As a committee
It would have
said-
been, at least, if we could, it would have been the majority of the committee if we would have done that.
But I don't know.
I don't know
We
if we
don't
can
even have the
even-
You
authority.
wouldn't be breaking any laws, you'd be violating our policy.
Well, right, I
Right.
mean, that's, but I, you
There's no sanction for that.
But I know that in past precedents, we've had some cases like that as well, so I'm not sure if we would want to bring it back into policy for consideration to see if we would want to add any clauses or
Yeah, because I know
So
we
if
had,
we
before
want-
we, I,
if we
since
want
I've
to
been on
change
board,
it
we
in any way,
used
shape, or
it.
form.
we've
Because I
had
know we've done
residents.
it in some cases, right?
What-
You really?
No, I think we've used the policy, yeah, because we look,
It could be part of the presentation
right.
or a conclusion of the presentation.
Well, the example I was,
That's where it should
What-
go.
What's
the
your?
example I was thinking of was a district employee who wasn't,
That's a taxpayer. They're included in that. So that's why teachers or staff members can do that because that is already written in the policy. It's having someone from like White Marsh Township coming in and wanting to speak without having any other relation. And we've used that in the past. I know while I've been on the board, the person doesn't have, they're not a taxpayer, they're not a district resident. We've used that in board meetings previously. It's been a few years, but I do recall that at least in one occasion, so.
Did I answer your question?
You
You
can-
can have your discretion under the policy.
Right, okay.
Subsidiary.
And there's no other policy that would say that,
And there's no law that would require you, so you could have, another option you could have said to him, we'll hear you after the conclusion of public comment, we'll add you as an additional agenda item after public comment. You could have said that.
All right.
But right now, we're at the point of our meeting where you're hearing from residents and taxpayers of the
Correct.
district, which you are not.
Correct.
If you would like to say something, I'll be happy to put you on the agenda as an additional agenda item after people who came here to speak are finished.
Mhm.
That's another option you have.
Mhm.
And we've just never had that happen before, so we
No, I'm
don't
thinking.
know what to do
yeah.
necessarily.
Right, I'm
So,
going by the words I read at that
Right.
point.
So,
Yeah.
and if it comes up at the next meeting, I'll be happy to give that explanation. So, for people who are very
Yeah.
thank you.
You know, we've had state reps come to our meetings and speak. We had a presentation for Dr. Plattis, but that was all.
They were better.
That was a presentation. They were invited to speak and we knew they were coming and
They were on the agenda, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think any of our state reps.
So, yeah, I mean, I would like to bring that back next time, just to review that word and make sure it says what we want it to say.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
That'd be good.
So,
how weird that would be.
all right, so our next policy committee meeting will be here September 24th, 1:30. Other than that, unless there's any other closing comments, we're adjourned. Thank you.